Aaron, how do you guys bounce back from a loss like that?
Just like we've done all season. We've had some tough losses, and you just got to show up and win the next one. Even going back to the past couple series we played, lose the first one, come out, win the next two, and put ourselves back in the position we need to be in.
What's going through your mind as that innings unfolding? You guys have had yourselves in a position to win this game prior to that seventh.
Yeah, it's just not going our way. Especially the guys that brought out the bullpen. I trust every single one of those guys. They've gotten a lot of big outs for us, especially Cruiser and Leiter. But just didn't get done there, and kind of put us in a bad spot. But then we just gotta show up tomorrow and do our thing, and we'll be where we need to be.
Todd, at the time you hit your first inning, your 359th run past Yogi Berra. What did that mean to you at that moment?
Excited to give us a lead, especially going up against the Tigers, where they got a great pitcher on the mound. We know how well they've been doing all year, and kind of give Bull an opportunity to go out there with a little lead. I was excited about that. Passing Yogi, it's pretty special. All-time great Yankee. What he meant to this organization. Even when he was done playing, being around the stories we heard, he's the definition of a true Yankee. So anytime you're on a list with a guy like that, it's pretty remarkable.
Fernando, you had a lot of success since coming off the IL. Why do you think you struggled to find the strike zone a little bit tonight?
It's just one of those nights that we have to just come tomorrow and try to execute again. Like sometimes just don't gonna go your way. I was battling, obviously. There's no doubt, and it's going to be those nights that we just need to forget. Come back tomorrow and do your job.
How do you process a night like tonight?
It's just one of the days that I take as another step closer to get to my purpose, to get to where I need to go, and learn from it. I take it as a learning day, as a learning process, and it's just once I'm one step closer to where I'm gonna go.
Any particular reason you attribute for the lack of command time?
I mean, sometimes this is a sport that, as you see, it's not as easy as it looks. Like sometimes you're on top of the horse, sometimes you get out of it. So you learn how to go it on top. Again, I mean, it's just something that happen in baseball. You're never bigger than the game, and you're always learning from failures.
Aaron, Fernando Cruz had been so solid since coming off the IL. What was different about his stuff tonight?
Yeah, Green jumps him on a kind of a strike splitter right away, and then just lost the strike zone a little bit. Got a couple of swing and misses, but they were pretty disciplined with the split. I thought Torkelson had a good at bat laying off the 3-2 split there that you see a lot of guys chase. But just, couldn't get in the zone enough there, and obviously that inning gets away from us.
Leiter came in thereafter and seemed to have trouble finding the strike zone as well. What were you seeing from him?
Yeah, just a little bit of that. Obviously the hit batter, another walk. So just, a rough inning for us and getting in the strike zone, and they were disciplined enough. But, obviously that's the story there in that inning.
Aaron, how do you kind of wrap your head around that inning as a whole? I mean, you guys had been playing well for the most part throughout that game, certainly an opportunity to win it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Will pitched so well, 6 strong innings kind of set us up there. And look, we just got away from us. 5 ends up being 5 with the hit batter, free passes. We managed contact that, it's not like we got hit a lot all over the yard and some balls finding holes, but just too many free passes.
Greg.
In that bottom of the 5th, what did you make of the at-bats after you guys had put 2 on, the first 2 batters to reach?
Where we're the bunt? Yeah. Obviously, we don't get the bunt down, and then and then a punch. Grish has a good at bat, just misses the 3-0. So, I mean, that's our chance to kind of grab the lead there and hopefully run with it. Just weren't able to get it done.
Anyone else? Max.
We've asked you a lot about your confidence in the bullpen throughout this summer. Just now with less than 20 games to go after a night like this, just how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, it's still good. Look, I mean, Cruzer's been great. It happens. So, and I feel like Weave's in a good place, and Devin's throwing the ball well, and Bednar, and Timmy hasn't pitched in a while, just some matchup things, but obviously we have a ton of confidence in him when things right, and I think Leiter, we need to get him more in the mix here in some of these situations. So we have the guys down there to get it done. We just got to sync it up. Like tonight's a tough night, but it doesn't change a lot of the good things that have happened in some of these games we've been able to close out.
Meredith.
Aaron had wound up not playing into the outcome of this one, but in the first inning, Aaron Judge hit that home run. That was career number 359. He's now top 5 all-time in Yankee history. Knowing some of the names that are there, just how impressive is that? And how crazy is it really that top 5 has not changed since 1957?
Yeah, I actually looked at it on the board when they slide his name up ahead of Yogi and Joe DiMaggio's next. And look, I mean, we've the last few years with what Aaron's done in this league and the seasons he's had, he's been in some rarefied air, obviously, and there's been these, impressive lists or names that he's up next to, and but when you see a career list like that with this organization and where he is right now in the center of it, it's pretty awesome.
Chris.
With Leiter, since he came off the injured list, he hasn't missed many bats. What have you seen out of him?
Yeah, I mean, he's had some extended stretches where I haven't gone to him. There's been a lot of games where it's like he's up, I'm almost going to him, and it just hasn't got. So maybe it's a little product of not having the consistent work. I think his stuff's okay. Obviously he's behind tonight, and not in the strike zone enough. But, I feel like the stuff is there. I feel like just maybe a little bit more consistent work in some situations, and he can take off. Because I feel like the split's where it needs to be. He's got the curve and the sinker. Tonight he just was a little struggling to find the zone. But I feel like he can get on a roll, especially, he gets in those leverage situations. He usually doesn't flinch. So probably just a little bit of some, uneven work since he's been back.